Do this every single day to finally lose that stubborn belly fat. This is my client Alex, 39 years young. He was training harder than almost anybody watching this. He was doing triathlons, high rocks, years of high intensity interval training. His weight still climbed up a pound or true every single month until he had 200 Lilber, and then his blood test came back with 15 biomarkers out of range, including cholesterol. 10 weeks later, he 177 bio month with us, 23 one down. And here's the part that most of you won't even expect. We did not add more training. We took all that intense stuff out. Actually, what changed was 5 specific things that he did every single day. And today I'm going to show you exactly those 5 things. Because if you've been cutting calories, if you've been doing more cardio, you've been avoiding carbs, and your belly fat is still the exact same it was 6 months ago, the problem has nothing to do with all the effort you're putting in. Address what's actually keeping the belly fat in place, which is 2 hormones. Insulin is hormone number 1 and cortisol number 2. And together, this is what I call the daily belly fat reset. Number 1, the morning ignition. The first thing I do every single morning, I go for a walk. Not a long one, just 10 minutes. That's it, 10 to 15 minutes, comfortable pace, nothing crazy, enough where you can hold a conversation, you can be typing on your phone. And I do this before I break my fast. And here is why the simple task is so important for your fat burning window, and it sets out your entire day. So after you sleep overnight, your insulin is at its lowest when you wake up. Now think of your insulin like a librarian. Every time you eat, the food you digest enters like books, and that's sugar essentially entering your blood. The librarian's job, insulin, is to take those books and put them on the shelves. So some of those books go to your muscles, some to your liver, they send some to your brain. But when no food has come in, there's no books to shelf. So it opens up the fat storage unit and starts pulling out what's stored. The belly fat becomes fuel. The moment you eat breakfast, your insulin rises, that fat storage unit closes, and your muscles use the food you just ate for energy instead of the fat that you wanted to burn. And there's actually this super interesting study from the University of Bath in Birmingham, and they ran a 6-week trial, and they took people who exercised before breakfast, and those people burned double the fat compared to those who exercised after breakfast. Same exercise, they did the same effort, the same duration. The only difference was whether they had eaten first or not, fasted or fed 10 to 15 minutes. Go outside for a walk, do it fasted if you can every single morning. And that's why I call it the morning ignition. It sets that fat burning tone for the entire day. And this is exactly what made things work for Alex. He just started his day the perfect way, even with a baby on the way. And if you're learning from this already, just hit the video with a gentle thumbs up. It's totally free, and that supports me. So here's the problem. It's better to do this on an empty bodybuilders like Chris Bumstead. What does cardio look like? 45 minutes fasted in the morning, 25, 30 minutes at night. What about, let's say you decide, hey, I want to have breakfast. The moment food arrives, a completely different system takes over. And most people are turning on fat storage mode in the first 60 seconds of every single meal, and you don't even know it. So this is a habit that you can do if you do want to eat breakfast. Number 2, the PFC Lock. Every single meal you eat for the rest of your life should follow this sequence. P protein first, fiber second, C carbohydrates last. That's the PFC Lock. And this is why this changes everything, especially with belly fat. And remember when I told you to walk, y'all would say it's too simple. This sounds too simple, but it's a game changer. When you eat your carbohydrates first and you eat it on its own with nothing else, essentially you break down the fast and you flood your blood with sugar almost immediately. You give your librarian too many books to handle. Your insulin spikes, and every insulin spike sends the signal to your body that, hey, we're sending the body into storage mode. Store it to the muscle, store it to the liver, and the excess store it as fat. But when you eat protein first, something different happens. Your body releases this hormone called GLP. GLP-1 slows everything down. So the sugar from the carbohydrates trickles into your bloodstream gradually rather than this instant flood. This layer of protein you create first, then carbohydrates have to land on it and go through the protein. But if you just put carbohydrates on, there's no layer. So here's the part that stops people in their tracks with this PFC system. The GLP-1 that I'm talking about, you've probably heard of it. It's the exact hormone that Ozempic mimics, that weight loss injection, right? And that costs hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. You get a natural version of this just by eating your protein alone before any carbs. No injection, no prescription, and the best part, it's free. That's it. Then I want you to have your fiber second. Vegetables, salad, broccoli. You can do spinach, anything non-starchy. Fiber, if you draw fiber, it actually looks like a net. Fiber creates a physical barrier in your gut, and it slows the carbohydrate absorption even more. And essentially what you're doing is you're turning that belly fat storage signal all the way down every meal, every day. Protein first, fiber second, carbohydrates last. Make that one change. Notice how much better you feel. And for those of you who have tried my PFC system, did it make a difference for you? Let me know in the comments. I need to know if this stuff is working for y'all, because it feels like I'm sometimes talking to myself. So let me know, and it might inspire someone else to try. I can hear some of y'all now. Doctor, I'm like, that's fine. That's all good. But what if I'm out the door before 6? You know, lunch is happening at my desk, and when dinner arrives is when the kids arrive as well. And I get it. Alex had that same life, the commute, kids, corporate, I get it. But what made him stick to this process was not willpower. It's because he had a team of doctors, of course, the boy in his corner, every single week. And we noticed when things went quiet. That's exactly what me and my team of doctors do at Scope by Sites every single day. If you want us in your corner, it's the first link in the description. That's all you need to do, where to start. And it's also this scan link that you can scan now. But that's all I'll say for now. Let's talk about the habits. Now, most people think that, okay, you have the meal and it's over, right? The fork's down, we're done. It's not. That 60 seconds after your last bite is actually where you'll have the most power over your insulin. So check this out. This is part number 3. Nobody uses it. It's the squat reset. It only takes 60 seconds, and most people have never heard of it. Now, Alex didn't do this exactly, but this is even a simpler version. Immediately after finishing a meal, I want you to do 10 air squats. Feet shoulder width apart. Lower your body until your thighs are parallel to the floor, and stand back up 10 reps after eating. I'm going to explain the science behind it, so just bear with me. So here's what's happening. When you eat, your blood sugar rises and your body naturally releases insulin to deal with it, to put that food somewhere. But when you're doing air squats immediately after a meal, and remember your glutes are the biggest muscle in the body, and then your quads and your hamstrings, your leg muscles open a channel. It's this secret door called your glute transporters. These are side doors on your muscle that don't need insulin. When you squat and you stand up, those doors open. Your muscle directly pulls sugar out of your bloodstream. Without insulin's need, the blood sugar that was going to cause an insulin spike is getting absorbed by your legs. Insulin barely has to rise. Your belly fat storage signal stays quiet. Do that 3 times a day after every meal, 60 seconds each time. That's it, right? And you can do more if you want. That's 3 minutes of daily effort directly blocking insulin spike. Now, what you've heard me say before is walk. You can do that too. That's equally as good. But let's say you're eating food at your desk. Let's do some squats, baby. That's it. Let's put in the work. So when you can combine that squat reset with a PFC lock, you're hitting your insulin at 2 directions every single meal. This is also where the story gets interesting, because insulin is only half the story. The second hormone, remember I mentioned it, that's locking your belly fat in place. This is why the cortisol belly exists. You see people with this belly, your arms are thin, your legs are fine, but you just look pregnant. Your food could be perfect. And this thing peaks at an exact time every single day when most of you think you're relaxed. We need to do step number 4, which is the cortisol cut. Cortisol is your body's stress hormone. This hormone tells your body, hey, store fat in case of a rainy day. And for most people, especially in 2026, we are chronically stressed. Not because they're like dramatic stress, right? Like you got a bad message. It's the small things consistently throughout the day. It's an email here. You get this notification about something being pulled from your bank account. You're drinking coffee before you've eaten anything. Driving to work in traffic, driving home from traffic. Someone's crying, right? Never stepping away from the screens, watching the news. Cortisol cut is an essential habit, and it's something we need to do daily. I need to make more videos about this. Honestly, this is something we need to do to bring cortisol down before bed. Number 1, a 10 to 15 minute walk outside after dinner. Walking is one of the most calming things you could ever do. No one says I feel more stressed out of a walk. I've never heard that. Same thing with training. People always feel better. They call it therapy. But walking, that's all. So here's how it works. When you're doing low intensity movement in the morning, it brings your cortisol down without spiking your cortisol, the way intense HIIT cardio does. That's exactly what Alex was doing. So by being outside with natural light, it also helps your internal clock begin transitioning into recovery mode because your muscles are moving, contracting, and relaxing. So your muscles are acting as this glucose sink, right? And this prevents the insulin spike. All I'm asking you to do is a walk after dinner every evening. Alex, implementing this habit made it family time for him. Your cortisol is coming down for your whole family. You're spending time with each other without the devices. Your insulin stays lower. Your fat storage signal is quieter. And that evening walk is really what sets up the final habit. The one that data may say matters more than anything that I've mentioned here combined, and the one almost everyone is watching and they're getting it wrong. Sleep lock. It's the final daily habit. It's the one that's the most overlooked. If you've been watching my videos by now and you're not doing this and you haven't seen results, it's because of this sleep. And I'm not talking about any sleep. I'm talking about enough. I'm talking about consistent, and I'm talking about protected sleep. Researchers at Mayo Clinic, they ran this randomized control trial. They cut participants' sleep down to just 4 hours of sleep a night for 2 weeks. Visceral belly fat, the deep fat surrounding your organs, toxic fat releasing cytokines, inflammatory chemicals, making all your organs not function properly. It's the fat you can't pinch. It does the most damage. That went up 11%, and this part is the scary one. Their weight didn't move, so their weight scale still showed the same. Week 1, 200 leg, week 3, 200 leg, but visceral fat went up 11%. That's about a pound. The scale said nothing was wrong, and then they did a CT scan. They scanned them like, what's up with that? And it showed that that fat was going straight to their organs. So this is what's happening. When you don't sleep enough, cortisol goes up, and cortisol tells your body, hey, let's hold on to this fat, accumulate more of it, because I don't know if this guy is safe or not, or girl. At the same time, poor sleep also makes you hungrier, right? All of a sudden, you want a burger so badly, a pizza so badly, a hot dog. It turns that signal up to eat more, and it turns down the signal that tells you, hey, you've eaten enough, you're full. The people in that same study ate an extra 300 calories a day, and they didn't even realize it. You may be even snacking on peanuts here and there. All of a sudden, you're drinking normal Coke, you're eating more, you're craving sugar, and you don't know why. That cortisol from bad sleep, it sends that signal straight to your belly. It's a cycle that gets worse and worse. Now, the sleep lock does 3 things every night. Stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. When your body is still digesting a meal, it can't drop into deep sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where your cortisol is cleared. When your body releases growth hormone, no screens 1 hour before bed. The light from your phone tricks your brain into thinking it's still daylight out time. There's real science proving this. I can go into the nitty-gritty, but your brain thinks that it's daylight because of your phone or your TV screen. So what I want you to do is to have the same sleep and wake time every single day, including weekends. And your body runs on this internal clock. And nothing sets that clock better than consistency. We want 7 to 8 hours, right? If you want to sleep 8 hours, you need 9 hours in bed. If you want to sleep 7 hours, you need 8 hours in bed. So let's assume you want to wake up at 8 a.m. You need to be in bed at least at midnight. If you want to be awake at 6 a.m., you need to start thinking about going to bed between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. every night. Non-negotiable. Why do people always negotiate with their sleep? The first thing you're willing to sacrifice is sleep. Go out with friends, I'm going to sacrifice sleep. Go to dinner, I'm going to sacrifice sleep. Hey, I need to send an email. Sacrifice sleep. Stop sacrificing your sleep. The sleep block is not this preference. It's a foundation to your life. It's the habit that makes all of these work together. And when I said this to Alex, he didn't believe this either. Sometimes people just need to invest with me to finally say, hey, Dr. Mike, I'll listen to everything you say. Then we added hours, hour by hour, to his nights. We stacked all of these together, and now exactly as promised, this is his routine. The daily reset laid out for you, play by play. So the morning is the morning ignition. We use 1 and 2. We use the toilet, weigh ourselves, and we go out for a walk immediately. Go outside for the first 10 minutes. When you finally break your fast, we do the PFC Lock. Protein first, fiber second, carbs last. After every meal, either walk or do the squat reset. 10 air squats, 60 seconds, that's all I'm asking. After dinner, we need the cortisol cut. Go on a walk with your family, go on a walk outside every meal if you can, every night. Do the sleep lock. All right, no food 2 to 3 hours before bed, no more screens 1 hour before bed. The same sleep and wake. Stop negotiating 7 to 8 hours minimum. 5 habits, all 5 targeting the 2 hormones, insulin and cortisol, at different angles at different time of the day. And notice what's not on this list. I didn't even ask you to go to the gym. I didn't ask you to cut out your favorite foods. I didn't give you these perfect conditions for Alex. Half of the results you got came down to these tiny changes. Nobody called it a diet. And Alex did this with a corporate job with 90 minutes commute to and fro. You don't need the perfect life. You just need the same 5 moves. Repeat it every single day. Do this consistently. Create the optimal hormonal environment. This is where your stubborn belly fat finally is going to say, you know what? We don't need this no more. And if you want to see the exact foods that I eat every day to stay lean, the actual meals weighed and filmed, comment diet below, right? Write down, hey, Dr. Mandell, share your diet routine, and I'll make that happen. I'm going to make that jump the video queue. Now, before I say the next part, I'll let Alex tell you what he had to say, the version of himself from 10 weeks ago. What would you say to that?
Alex, at all, is 23 labor heavy?
I would say that he is worth the investment. I kept weighing up whether I can just continue to try by myself, and I think I would suggest that taking the plunge, that the reaching out and getting help in a way that not just necessarily for weight loss, but for what have you, for other things. If you feel like you're not able to manage or do something yourself on your own, then getting help, getting guidance is a really good potential option. And I look back at where I was, and I'm really glad that I took the plunge to go with you guys and commit fully as far as I can with my family, with my 2 kids, with work and everything else. But I've been able to incorporate everything into my busy daily day-to-day schedule, have exceeded my expectations throughout the program. And if you want to be just like Alex, if you want results just like him, scan the QR code now, the first link in the description. We are a tight-knit family. We're a tight-knit team. We're the best in the business, but our availability is limited, so apply. Yes, there is a premium investment, but it is so worth it when you see those results. If not, just consume the free content, no problem. But like I always say, guys, keep putting one foot in front of the other, especially when you don't feel like it.